Hello everybody, welcome back to Let's Talk Books, the #1 vlog for books and book reviews. Sorry about that weird thing, I was trying to pass my phone from one hand to another. How yous all? It's been a hot week in the UK, so I want to record this early, but I've been sweating and melting. But I'm alive, so it's fine. We've got thunderstorms and rain, it's fine. So before we review The Head of Mimir, which thanks to Reckonite Books, which you can find a link in the description below, I just want to give a shout out to a charity cause that the ones who came before are running. I've lost my page. Not professional, I know. So this year's campaign is titled Assassins in Need, Heart of the Creed, and they will raise money for the British Heart Foundation and the American Heart Foundation, two incredible organisations providing critical cardiovascular medical research and education to facilities around the world. This lifestyle campaign, launched by the ones who came before in association with different companies and communities, hopes to be a bigger stage with a target of £1,500. You can make donations to the GoFundMe link in the description below, and every money you donate will be a great cause to help this charity. And we want to thank everyone who is able to donate. You can donate as much as you want or as little as you want, but this is a very big charity and one that will eventually save a lot of lives. So we are talking about The Head of Mimir, a prose novel, which is actually something I learned today because I always thought a book's a book, you read it, bleh. But this is actually specifically titled a prose novel. And now I was thinking of the Prose Edda, which is a Norse mythology poem, but it turns out, and got my diary here, fancy now, a prose novel is any writing that's unbroken sentences. So apparently, and Google can get you so far, Harry Potter is a prose novel as well. And I could be wrong, so I really hope someone can correct me in the description below. So what is The Head of Mimir? Now, I'm going to have to get Economic Books up for this, because I don't want to spoil anything by giving my opinion, so if I can use the blurb from Aconite Books, we're good to go. Now, as you notice, right, okay, my camera's flipped, so this is going to get some used to. We have now got the book and some pros and cons. A little bit of addition to what we had last time with this Dead Space, so thank you to Lord Rayless, who actually gave me this idea to expand it. So I'm hoping this new style looks funky, and well, it does look funky. And the pros and cons will help you read and see what I'm discussing, because we can't always be positive, and sometimes I will be because I read anything that's good, but sometimes I can't always be positive because sometimes there's little bits that are just not for me. So remember, everything discussed in these reviews are my own opinion, and I'll love to hear yours. So, what is The Head of Mimir? It's a Legend of Asgard novel by Richard Lee Byers. The young Heimdall must undertake a mighty quest to save Odin and all of Asgard in the first heroic fantasy novel set in Marvel's incredible Legends of Asgard. It is a dark time for Asgard. The All-Father is trapped in a bewitched Odin sleep, inspiring an all-out assault from the Frost Giants. They evade the gods' defences with uncommon ease, as if guided by augury. Heimdall, a quick-witted young warrior still finding his place among Asgard's defenders, believes it is no coincidence that Odin lies enchanted, and the giants are so well informed. Sneaking into his inner chambers, he discovers the preserved Head of Mimir, a great source of wisdom, is missing. Accompanied by sister Lady Sif, Heimdall must quest across the 9 realms to retrieve it, lest mighty Asgard fall. That is actually how epic the book reads, truthfully. It is a full-on epic action fantasy novel. Before the pros, let's go into a con. One of my biggest decisive moments in reading is prologues. I'm 50-50 on them, and I wasn't quite sold on this prologue. It felt a bit long, didn't feel as connected, but I will give the prologue a pro that it did really have a great way of connecting to the story, but it doesn't affect the book if you skip the prologue. Well, technically it would a little because you won't understand the epilogue. So I would recommend you read the prologue to get the full story. I didn't enjoy it as much as I hoped. So let's get to prose. Oh my god, it is a good book. It has a great pace. From chapter 1 to the final chapter, there isn't a moment where I'm lulling in a sleep, where I'm bewitched by Odin's sleep and want to snore. It's got a great blend of action and fantasy, really great storytelling, and there's also a bit of humour, because the story is told through Heimdall and Sif. Now, thankfully, the authors did a really good job of picking only Heimdall to discuss, but still keeping Sif important. So even though it's done from Heimdall's eyes only, Sif is there in a very important matter, and there is great back and forward between the characters that gives it a bit of humour and a bit of a sibling rivalry at times, and it's really well received. So this book does come across really strong from this action and fantasy, and from the start to the end, you don't know which way the book's going, and there was two unexpected twists that actually brought a smile to my face. When I read them, I was like, oh, because one of my issues I was having reading the book, I thought it was going to go into the typical trope of if there's a bad guy in Asgard, it'll have to be Loki. It's a typical trope. But Loki's not even in this book, and that is a big plus. Having a villain that's not the typical Loki is a win in my head, and that is why when you find out who did all this and the big twist of the villain, I just sat there and was like, wow, this was unexpected, and I loved it. There was quite a few other twists and turns and some new revelations that I just sat back after reading on. I may read it again. It was enjoyable, and it was a great action adventure and did everything it described in the blurb. If you are someone who does like Norse mythology and the Marvel Universe, this is something you could get a real kick out of. It really tells a good story of Norse mythology, has a good understanding of the Norse world, which ties into the great world building. The world building that described the 9 realms, each location, each action scene, really well and vividly. So I'm a visual reader, so I visualize a lot when I'm reading, and having a book with a great world building is always a bonus in my opinion. So I think the way the world was built and how we read it was just phenomenal. I kind of lost myself in the world, and I finished the book and I felt lost. I wanted to revisit that world. It's just similar with a lot of other books out there. You read it and you just get immersed, and I think I'm excited to chase the rest of the trilogy and see what else is there and get lost in this world again. So these are short, snappy reviews because you could pick apart a book, and I noticed this from the last one. You could spend hours and hours picking apart a book, but what makes a book special is the magic of the unknown. A blurb can give you windows into the book. 10-20 minute review like this can give you a gateway into the book. And that's why I really think small reviews like this are really great for you listeners, because this book I could spend ages picking apart. There were so many good moments, so many good twists, so many great nods to Norse mythology that I don't want to ruin them for you. So I would recommend you go and check this book out from Aconite Books' description below and read it for yourself, because if you like Assassin's Creed Valhalla and you've enjoyed that world, this is going to be right up your alley. If you just like Norse mythology in general, this is right up your alley. It's just perfect, and it really does feel like a Marvel cinematic book. So if you've got time, pick this one up. I would highly recommend it, and I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. And remember, as always, you can email me your thoughts and book recommendations to Assassin's Creed Let's Talk at gmail.com or on Twitter at AC Let's Talk. So I didn't do this last time in the review because I got this copy from Aconite Books and I was just currently requesting it. But I am proud to announce my next book review. Just let me get the book. Now, I haven't read this since I was 11 years old. And I loved it then. I love it now. Lord of the Rings. This is fantasy at its best. And the plan is I will be reading all three. Technically it's one book, but hey, I'll get into that later. And I will be reviewing all three back to back. Once all three are reviewed, I'll review the fourth as Lord of the Rings as a whole. Because I don't actually have The Hobbit yet. When I get The Hobbit, I'll reread The Hobbit and I'll record it because I did have it, but I can't find it. So thank you so for listening, and I will see you next time, and keep reading.